to a brand new episode of the Riff Rundown. I hope this is finding you and yours doing well this weekend. My name is Petrilli, here with my friends at Fishman for a brand new episode of the Riff Rundown. This is one of my favorite Rolling Stones songs, and I can't believe I haven't taught it already, so I'm going to teach it to you guys today. We're going to be learning Beast of Burden. Such a fun song, really simple. It's got two parts. As always, we're going to go through the parts, and then towards the end of the lesson, I'll give you some ideas to use if you want to solo over the song. All right? So, as always, if you guys are enjoying these lessons that I do weekly here on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really does help me out a lot. And if you want to check out all the cool Fishman gear that I use in these lessons, including these sweet Fishman Fluence pickups that I have in my Strat today, go ahead and click the link down below to learn more. And while you're at it, many of you ask how you can support me for these lessons that I do here on YouTube. I have a Bandcamp page, I have a Patreon page, I have original music with my band, Angela Petrilli and the Players. All of that information is down below, and you can check it out there. And I thank you so much in advance. So, before we get started, you guys know I like to ask a question, so please do let me know where you are tuning in from and let me know your favorite Stones record. Put it in the comments below. Really happy you're here. Electric guitar, standard tuning. Let's have some fun. Here's Beast of Burden by the Stones. So let's go ahead and get started here. As you can tell, two parts. We go back and forth, okay? So that intro verse part, and then that little chorus that starts with that A major chord. So first and foremost, let's go ahead and look at that intro. So with the intro here, what's happening is we have a B chord to an E chord, back to that B, and then that C sharp minor, okay? So let me go ahead and talk you through it. So first and foremost, go ahead and look at that B chord. So that B chord here, we're going to be using our thumb. When Keith plays this, he likes to use those overhanging, thumb chords. So we're going to do that too today. So first, we're going to start with our thumb, 7th fret of that E string, just like this. We don't need to squeeze really hard here. Just give it enough pressure to where that note is going to ring nice and true, okay? So just like that. Wrap it around, okay? Our first finger, I want you to place that on the 7th fret of the B string. It's gonna be our F sharp, okay? From there, I want you to get your second finger, placing that here on the D sharp, okay? 8th fret of that G string, and then our third finger, placing that on the 9th fret of the D string B, okay? So again, the tonal centers of our B major chord, B, D sharp, F sharp. There they are. So just like that. There they are. Now, what we're going to do here, so we're going to strum this once. Now, you may ask, what about that A string, that lives in between this E string and the D string? Well, what happens is when this thumb is wrapped over, hear that? It naturally mutes that A string. Okay, so we don't need to worry. So we want to strum this B string, or this B chord rather, one time. And what we're going to do here, this is kind of a strange move. And when I was first learning this song, this took me a second to kind of wrap my head around. It seems a little strange to do, but I promise you it will become second nature the more that you practice this. So what we're going to do here, there's this little move that our third finger does. It's very weird. All we're going to do, you're going to bend back. See that first knuckle right underneath your fingernail? You want to bend back. It seems counterintuitive, and it does feel a little strange. When we flatten that third finger, okay, across the 9th frets of the D string, G string, and B strings respectively, when we do that move, that right there is our E major triad, okay? So those notes that we are playing, okay, if we're being technical, this is a second inversion of this E major triad because we have the B on top, which is the 9th fret, okay, of that D string. We were just playing it a moment ago on our B chord, okay? From there, just underneath it at the 9th fret of the G string, that's our E, that's gonna be our root, and then our G sharp is right there at the 9th fret of the B string, okay? So we're gonna do this move from that B chord, and we're gonna take our time with this, because it can feel a bit awkward at first. And we're gonna keep, okay, that B in the bass as we do that. So notice I am strumming that B chord once, and letting, okay, that kind of hammer on I'm doing with my third finger, okay, propel that E major triad that's coming next. So let's do this a few times slowly. I know this can be uncomfortable, okay, but with good, well-intentioned practice, you will be able to do this. I promise you that, okay? So let's take our time here. We're gonna do this a few times, so here we go. Again. Okay, we're gonna keep going. Okay, while letting that B note ring on the lower part of the chord. Here we go. And once more. So that's what's happening there, okay? That's how we get from that B to that E chord, okay? From there, we're gonna do an upstroke, downstroke, and then we're gonna do just a percussive hit where we just kind of play the chord, but we're not pressing to hear the notes of that chord, okay? So that sounds like this. Okay, very cool, like keef percussive little move there, okay, with that E chord. Just like that. Now let's do this in context, okay? And I'm going really slow with this lesson on purpose. I really want you guys to get all these nuances because it's a really fun song to play. So here we go, slowly. Again. Just like that, let's do it again. Let's give it a little speed now. Okay, starting to hear it? Let's do that again. Just like that. Now, from there, we're going to strike that B chord one more time, sounding like this. Just like that. Let's take our time. Let's now add that to the mix. Here we go. Just like that. We're taking this part by part. Here we go. Let's do it again. Once more. Just like that. Now, after we strike that B chord, I want you to mute it with this part of your hand. We want it to be a nice pop, okay? We don't want it to sustain out like this. That we don't want here. We want it nice and punchy, okay? So keep that in mind, placing that there, just to kind of make sure we don't get any sustain, okay? So let's do that again. There you go. Okay, so keep these things in mind. You can do this, all right? So what we're gonna do next, So we're going to go to our C sharp minor chord. Now, keep in mind with the song, we are in the key of E major, so this would be our 6th chord. All right. So what's happening here is it's pretty close by. It's a neighbor of B major. Okay. So there it is there. How we play this chord. Okay. And again, we're going to utilize our thumb here, just like Keith does. Okay. So that thumb, placing that on the 9th fret of the E string. That's where C sharp lives. Okay. Just like that. That's the note you're looking for. From there, we want our 3rd finger on the 11th fret of the D string. That is another C sharp. Okay. So here are the octaves. Okay. Just like that. Now, from there, we're going to get our 1st finger, placing that across the 9th fret of the G string and B string respectively. Now keep in mind C sharp minor, okay? 1 flat 3 5. That's the formula that builds a minor chord, in this case C sharp, E, and G sharp are going to be our 1 flat 3 or 5. Okay? So just like that. So that's the chord. Now let's play it in context. You're going to give it a good down, up, and then sustain out, little mute with that side of your hand. Okay? So here we go, nice and slowly. Okay? Can't play anything fast, we can't play slow. Say it all the time here. Again. After we do that down upstroke, notice how I give it another percussive hit at the end. Okay? Let's add that in, and here we go. Just like that. Now, from there, we have that iconic little riff that we would expect from Keith Richards, right? Here's how we do it. Now, I like to the best of my ear, what it sounds like to me is that we've got the 9th fret of the D string and G string engaged. So those notes, that's going to be our B and E respectively. I want you to play them at the same time. Now from there, we're going to do a little hammer on here with our 3rd finger on the 11th fret of that D string, okay, going back to that C sharp. Okay, nice and slowly, let's do that again. Just like that. And once more. And notice how I'm only striking it once, letting the hammer on, giving it enough gas to make sure that hammer on is nice and clean. Okay, moving the hand out of the way so you can see it. Okay, now from there, let's see. I like to do it as an upstroke, so I had to think about that for a second. So what I do here, okay, I place my 2nd finger down on the 10th fret of the B string. So that's going to be an A note. I am striking that A note at the 10th fret of the B string, as well as the 9th fret of the G string, which is going to be your E. And then I give it another percussive hit, okay? Kind of a theme today. So what we have here, slowly, after that C sharp minor, is that. Let's play that slowly. Just like that. Let's do it one more time. And that, oh yeah, and the percussive hit. Do that at the end. So that's our intro and our verse. I'm going to play through that slowly, all the parts. I encourage you to play along with me. And if you haven't clicked that thumbs up button yet on the video, I encourage you to do that. If you haven't subscribed, I encourage you to do that too. It really helps me out a lot. So let's start from the very top. I'm going to take my time, and then we will increase the speed. All right, so here we go. Pretty cool stuff, right? So make sure that we really take our time. We can't play anything fast, so we can't play slow. So take it chunk by chunk. If we first start with, and we're doing that for a little bit, just to make sure we get that kind of backwards bend with that knuckle nice and clean. Take your time. Okay, so take it part by part. Now, we're gonna do this again. I'm gonna play just a little bit faster, all right? So here we go, okay? And I encourage you, follow along, okay? Play along. Let me know how you're doing in the comments too. Okay? You can totally do this. You can totally play this. It is such a fun song to play. So that's our intro. So I'll never be a beast of burden. Kind of tricky to play and sing at the same time, but you get the idea, okay? So I encourage you. Slow is fast. Think about it. All right, so going into our chorus here, okay, we're gonna incorporate 2 new chords that we haven't played, well, three new chords, okay, if we're being technical, 3 new chords. We're gonna go with an A chord, then to an E over G sharp, and then we repeat that, and then we do a B to B sus4, back to B, and then into our, okay, section. So what's happening there is we go into our chorus, so am I tough enough, da, 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 da. Okay, it's that section. So we have the same shape that we played with the B major, except this time we're playing A. So we know with our theory, right, that B and A are a whole step apart. So in terms of this chord shape, we bring that back for us guitar players, okay, 2 frets. So thumb should be hanging over, okay, but don't squeeze too hard, okay? 5th fret of the E string, it's gonna be your A note. Again, A, C sharp, and E. Think about those tonal centers of the chord. Okay, 1st finger on E, 5th fret of the B string, 2nd finger on the 6th fret of the G string, that's our C sharp, which is our 3rd, and then our root here is A, 7th fret of the D string. Okay, and strum, even that low, okay, E string, we mute the A string, but guess what? It's an A chord, and if you happen to get that A string in there, it sounds that much cooler, so totally up to you. I tend to just kind of sit in the pocket when I'm playing this. I don't like to, I'm not strumming it out. I'm not doing that. I really want to sit in the pocket with that drummer and that bass player. That's what I'm always thinking when I'm playing the song. So I'm kind of sparse when it comes to the strumming. So I do a down hit, and then a percussive hit, and then another down hit. That's the pattern I use here. Just like that. Pretty simple and straightforward, okay? Now we have this new chord here. So instead of just playing an E, we are playing the G sharp in the bass, which, as we know, is the 3rd of that E chord. So check it out. We are going from A, that thumb, I want you to bring it to the 4th fret of the E string. That's where G sharp lives, okay? So what we're gonna do next is we are going to play the E triad, which looks like this, okay? So let me show you how to do that. So we're first gonna start with our 1st finger here. That's gonna be on the B note, 4th fret of the G string. Our 2nd finger, placing that on the 5th fret of the B string, which is gonna be E, okay? And then we have our G sharp here, 6th fret of the D string. Same rule applies when you have that thumb hanging over, A string is muted. So feel free to strum it. Okay, and I use that same strumming pattern. So down hit, percussive, down hit, percuss, okay? So just like that. And again, using that side of my hand. Okay, pretty straightforward. This is going to be repeated 2 times. So with kind of some humming for context. Da, 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 So let's go through that slowly. A, E over G sharp. And we can get away with a little sustain ringing through just for a little bit on these chords. Just like that. Okay, again. So those two chords, okay, we repeat that twice. Then we go to our B sus4 section, which then leads us back into the verse, okay? So what we have here is this. Okay, so pretty cool and straightforward. Again, nice and snappy, nice and punchy, nice and clear. So what's happening here, we are going back from that E over G sharp to B. Okay, so if it helps, using that thumb as a guide, sliding up to the 7th fret of that E string, building back that B major chord here at the 7th fret. Okay. Now, what's going to happen here is we are going to strike the low B, 7th fret of that E string. Okay, so we've got its octave. Okay, so that's going to be on the 9th fret of that D string. Go ahead and play that. Got too ahead of myself. Played that D sharp. Didn't want to. So now what happens? Place that pinky finger down. Okay, we want that on that E note, 9th fret of the G string. And you're going to strum that. Okay, the D string and G string respectively. Now, if you happen to get that B string in there too, that F sharp, awesome. It's going to bring a nice sparkle to this chord. From there, release, now playing the B major chord. So when we put that finger down, we're playing a B sus4, okay, where that D sharp is replaced with an E note. By releasing the pinky, we go back to the D sharp. So for the first pass of the chorus, we only do that once. So for context, I'll show you what I mean. Da, 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 okay, and then we go in there. Now when we do the chorus the next time around, that gets another measure. Maybe even a couple more. Okay, so listen to the tune and you'll see how it's extended just a little bit, because that B sus really adds a lot in that build and going into that really iconic and catchy verse. So that's what's happening there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play a verse and a chorus. I'm going to go back and forth for a little bit, and then I'll give you some ideas that you can use if you wanted to solo over this. But yeah, it's a really fun song. And again, if you haven't clicked that thumbs up button yet, I encourage you, please do that and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out. So here we go from the top of the verse. I'm going to speed it up just a little. Okay, so follow along and let me know how you're doing in the comments. All right, so here we go. From the top. Chorus, A major. Verse. Very good. Chorus. Let's extend that B major. So if you're playing rhythm on this song, you are good to go. That's what's going on. Really fun song. So you go back and forth between that chorus, and there's going to be a bunch of verses and a chorus, a bunch of verses and then a chorus. So really fun stuff here. Now, as far as solos go, okay, just some ideas, because there's a ton of guitars happening in the song. If you listen, there's a lot going on as far as how they layered all the guitars in this song, which is really cool. The song's in E, so you can use an E major pentatonic, you can use a C sharp minor pentatonic, right? It's relative minor. These are things that you can do. Something, again, in the spirit of Keith Richards. A little line like that is something that's really cool, and as you can see, it follows that minor pentatonic. So what we'll do here is we'll go ahead and do that. It's pretty fun. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our first finger on the 9th fret of that D string. Okay, F sharp hammering onto G sharp, just like that. Then what we're going to do, you're going to bring that first finger down. We're going to hammer on from the 9th fret to the 11th fret, this time of the D string. So that's going to be B to C sharp. Okay, so pretty straightforward. Guess what? We're going to do that again, okay? 9th fret of that G string to the 11th fret. Okay, and those notes, E to F sharp. Just like that. Let's do it again. Just like that, okay? From there, you're going to get your first finger here on that G sharp, 9th fret of the B string, and then hammer on, okay, to that 12th fret of the B string, which is B. So, from there, okay, hitting that C sharp, and then landing on E, 12th fret. From there, you're going to bend that note, bring it back down to true, then hit it again. Just like that. From there, getting that 3rd finger on the B note, 12th fret of the B string, bending it up a whole step, and then bringing it back to true. So, if I play that slowly, okay, in the spirit of Keith Richards, something cool that you could try. Let's do that again. So something like that. It's kind of cool. So okay, cool little line that you can use. And again, try an E major pentatonic, try a C sharp minor pentatonic as you're going and soloing over these chords. Get a looper, play with a friend. It's really, really fun stuff, and just such a fun song to play. So as always, I want to thank my friends at Fishman for helping me do these lessons week after week. It has been such a blast, and most certainly I want to thank all of you. Thank you for tuning in and for being so wonderful and kind to each other in the comments. We are all students of the craft, including myself. I am humbled by this instrument every single day, and I'm a perpetual student of this instrument. And it is such a joy to show you guys, the few things that I know about this instrument and pass it along, because music is just such a wondrous thing, and it is such a beautiful thing that is meant to be shared. So it's just such a joy, folks. Again, wishing you much success on your musical journeys. Have fun with this.